Welcome to Socratic Spark, where timeless wisdom fuels unstoppable motivation. Hey, we go beyond cliches and empty slogans. Inspired by the fearless life of Socrates, this channel is about questioning limits, conquering fear, and finding strength through truth. Over 2,400 years ago, Socrates stood against power, ignorance, and even death, with nothing but the courage to question. Today, his spirit still speaks. The unexamined life is not worth living. Join us as we transform ancient philosophy into modern power. Think deeper, lie braver, rise stronger. Subscribe and let wisdom ignite your spark. In a world drowning in noise, endless opinions shouted from digital pulpits, self-proclaimed experts peddling half-truths, and societies crumbling under the weight of collective delusion. Consider this brutal reality. Most of humanity is profoundly ignorant, and worse, blissfully unaware of it. Socrates, the unyielding provocateur of ancient Athens, dared to declare this truth aloud, earning him enemies among the powerful and the complacent. "I know that I know nothing," he proclaimed, a statement that shatters the ego like a hammer to glass. This is no humble brag. It is a radical indictment of human arrogance, a call to arms against the false wisdom that poisons our minds and corrupts our actions. Picture the shock on the faces of Athenian elites as this homely, penniless philosopher dismantled their pretensions in public squares, revealing their knowledge as mere sophistry. He stung like a gadfly, as he himself described, irritating the sluggish horse of the state into wakefulness. Today, his words unsettle us just as deeply. In an era of fake news, echo chambers, and performative outrage, how many of us truly examine our beliefs, or do we simply parrot what flatters our biases? Socrates' commitment to truth was so uncompromising that it led to his execution, poisoned by hemlock for corrupting the youth with questions that expose hypocrisy. Yet his death was a triumph, a defiant stand against the tyranny of ignorance. This shock is your invitation. Embrace discomfort, question everything, and discover that true power lies not in endless chatter, but in thoughtful silence. Think more, say less, and awaken to a life of genuine virtue. Dear listener, in the stillness of your moment, away from the clamor of modern life, let me introduce you to Socrates, not a distant figure from ancient texts, but a living voice urging you to question and seek truth. Born around 470 BC in Athens to a stonemason and midwife, Socrates wandered the agora, wielding simple questions to unravel the certainties of all he met. He wrote nothing, yet his legacy endures through Plato's dialogues, revealing a man devoted to truth above all. In our era of information overload, where truth often slips through curated feeds, Socrates' philosophy shines like a beacon. His bold claim, "The unexamined life is not worth living," challenges us to probe our values and resist conformity. Accused of impiety and corrupting youth, he chose death over abandoning his principles, embodying courage. Misunderstood as a troublemaker, he inspired Plato, Aristotle, Augustine, and even modern figures like Martin Luther King Jr. His elenchus method, questioning to expose contradictions, offers clarity and courage to live authentically. Join me, as if Socrates walked beside you, whispering with gentle irony, "Think more, say less." Let's explore his wisdom, a guide to a life of truth and virtue in the midst of life's relentless rush, where doubts whisper in the quiet hours and injustices scream from the headlines. Have you ever felt the pull to challenge what everyone accepts as given? This is where Socrates begins his eternal dialogue with humanity, embodying the courage to question as a spark that ignites true understanding. Picture him in the bustling Athenian marketplace, surrounded by merchants hawking wares and politicians posturing for votes. A young disciple approaches, brimming with untested confidence, and Socrates, with his characteristic humility, poses a deceptively simple query: what is piety? As recounted in Plato's Euthyphro, this leads to an unraveling of assumptions, forcing the youth to confront the hollowness of rote beliefs. Socrates didn't seek to humiliate. He aimed to liberate, using questions like scalpels to excise the tumulus of false knowledge. His own life was a testament to this bravery. As a veteran of the Peloponnesian War, he fought valiantly at Potidaea, saving the life of Alcibiades, yet he questioned the glory of war itself, prioritizing the soul's battle against ignorance. "I cannot teach anybody anything. I can only make them think," he is said to have remarked, a quote that echoes through Plato's works. This method influenced Plato's Republic, where dialectic becomes a path to the forms, and Aristotle's emphasis on inquiry and ethics. Even Nietzsche, in The Birth of Tragedy, grappled with Socrates' rationalism as a force that supplanted mythic intuition, yet acknowledged its revolutionary power. Today, apply this courage practically. When faced with societal pressures, be it consumerism, siren call, or political propaganda, pause and ask, is this truly good for my soul? Resist the urge to speak hastily. Think deeply first. Socrates, as a gadfly, stinging Athens to awareness, reminds us that questioning is not rebellion but responsibility. Wisdom is a lantern, illuminating the dark corners of complacency, guiding us toward authenticity. As we turn from the spark of inquiry to its humbling foundation, consider how acknowledging our limits becomes a gateway to genuine insight amid the cacophony of self-assured voices claiming to have all the answers, politicians with their sound bites, influencers with their life hacks. Had you ever stopped to wonder if true wisdom lies not in knowledge, but in admitting what we don't know? Socrates revolutionized philosophy with his paradox. Ignorance is wisdom, the bold declaration that I know nothing. This wasn't false modesty. It was a profound recognition of human limitations, born from his encounters with Athens' so-called wise man. In Plato's Apology, he recounts the oracle at Delphi declaring him the wisest man, prompting him to interrogate experts, politicians, poets, craftsmen, only to find their expertise shallow, masked by pretense. They think they know something when they know nothing, he observed, highlighting how feigned wisdom blinds us to truth. Storytelling brings this to life. Imagine Socrates approaching a renowned poet, praising his verses, then gently probing, what do your words truly mean? The poet stumbles, revealing superficial understanding. This method, the Socratic irony, feigned ignorance to draw out truth, influencing Plato's theory of forms, where true knowledge transcends the sensory world. Aristotle adopted it in his categories, defining terms to avoid confusion. Augustine saw it as a path to God, confessing his ignorance in search of divine light. Nietzsche, in Beyond Good and Evil, both praised and lamented it, seeing Socratic skepticism as a dawn of critical thought but a curb on vital instincts. Practically, embrace this today by questioning your certainties. In relationships, admit I don't know to foster deeper connections. In career choices, recognize gaps in understanding to pursue lifelong learning. Think of ignorance as fertile soil for growth, wisdom as a tree rooted in humility. Say less in arguments. Listen more. Socrates' legacy teaches that silence amplifies insight. From this humble base, we move to the crucible where wisdom was tested, the trial that pitted truth against power. When the gavel of authority falls on those who dare speak uncomfortable truths, whistleblowers silenced, dissenters imprisoned, do you feel the chill of history repeating itself? Socrates' trial in 399 BC was the ultimate confrontation between individual integrity and societal fear, a drama that unfolds like a tragic play in Plato's Apology. Accused by Meletus, Anytus, and Lycon of impiety and corrupting youth, Socrates stood before the jury not as a defendant pleading innocence, but as a philosopher defending philosophy itself. Athens, I honor and love you, but I will obey God rather than you, he declared, refusing to cease his questioning even if acquitted. His calm demeanor amid venomous attacks exposed the corruption of democratic excess, where mob sentiment trumped reason. This event inspired Plato's Crito, where Socrates' rejects escape, arguing obedience to just laws. Aristotle referenced it in Politics, warning against demagoguery. Augustine drew parallels to Christ's trial, seeing divine truth in human persecution. Nietzsche viewed it as a birth of decadence, yet admired Socrates' defiant spirit. For modern application, face personal trials, ethical dilemmas at work, social ostracism for beliefs, with Socratic resolve. Question authority thoughtfully, not rebelliously. Truth is a forge, tempering the soul. Justice, a scale balanced by virtue. Speak with purpose. Think with depth. As the trial's shadow lingers, it compels us to examine the life we lead. For without scrutiny, what value does existence hold? In the quiet moments of reflection, when the distractions fade and you're left with your thoughts, have you ever pondered if your daily pursuits truly add up to a meaningful existence? Socrates' most haunting proclamation, the unexamined life is not worth living, uttered during his trial, strikes at the heart of human complacency. It challenges us to turn inward, scrutinizing motives, actions, and desires. Plato's Phaedo depicts Socrates' final hours, discussing the soul's immortality with friends, exemplifying examination even in death's embrace. He questioned immortality not with fear, but curiosity, urging others to live philosophically. This idea fueled Plato's Symposium, exploring love as ascent to beauty. Aristotle's Eudaimonia and ethics demand self-reflection for flourishing. Augustine's soliloquies mirror Socratic dialogue in seeking self-knowledge. Nietzsche, in Thus Spoke Zarathustra, inverted it, critiquing over-rationalization, yet his own self-overcoming echoes examination. Practically, integrate this, journal daily questions like what virtues did I practice today? In decisions, weigh long-term soul health over short-term gains. Life as an uncharted sea, examination the compass steering toward fulfillment. Think more on inner landscapes, say less on superficial shores. With examination as our guide, we navigate toward virtue, the true north of the soul. Faced with moral crossroads, temptations of shortcuts, pressures to compromise, where do you turn for direction? Socrates posited virtue as the soul's compass, the ultimate good aligning all else. In Plato's Meno, he argues virtue is knowledge, teachable through recollection. Debating Gorgias, he insisted rhetoric without virtue is flattery, not art. No evil can happen to a good man, he claimed in Apology, meaning virtue shields the soul. Plato expanded this in Laws. Aristotle refined it into mean virtues. Augustine Christianized it as love of God. Nietzsche challenged it as slave morality, yet his will to power reinterprets virtue dynamically. Today, cultivate virtue, practice temperance in consumption, justice in interactions. Virtue as a beacon in stormy seas, guiding authentic living. Reflect before acting, ensuring words stem from virtue. This compass points to dialogue's enduring power. Socrates' gift to eternity. As conversations devolve into arguments and connections fray in isolation, imagine reclaiming dialogue as a bridge to understanding. Socrates' legacy is the art of dialogue, fostering truth through mutual inquiry. In Plato's Republic, dialogues build ideal states. With Theaetetus, explore knowledge. He engaged all, slaves, nobles, democratizing wisdom. Influencing Aristotle's treatises, Augustine's dialogues, Nietzsche's aphoristic style. Modernly, in therapy, education, Socratic seminars revive it. Practice. In disputes, ask open questions. Listen actively. Dialogue as a river, flowing towards shared truth. Think collaboratively. Say thoughtfully. Socrates lives in every genuine exchange. In a world obsessed with more likes, more stuff, more status. Have you ever craved the freedom of less? Socrates, the Bayford philosopher of Athens, lived this truth with radical simplicity. Owning little more than a tattered cloak, he roamed the agora, not chasing wealth but seeking wisdom. As Plato's Symposium recounts, he'd stand motionless for hours, lost in thought, unbothered by material needs. When offered luxuries, he quipped, "How many things I can do without." Diogenes Laertius. This wasn't poverty for show. It was a deliberate choice to prioritize the soul over fleeting desires, a rejection of Athens' growing obsession with wealth. His simplicity wasn't just personal. It was a challenge to society's values. While sophists charged fortunes of fancy rhetoric, Socrates taught for free, valuing truth over profit. This inspired Plato's focus on the ideal over the material in Republic, Aristotle's ethics of moderation, and later, Stoics like Epictetus, who preached self-sufficiency. Even modern minimalists echo Socrates, stripping life to essentials to find meaning. Try it. Declutter one part of your life, your phone, your schedule. Ask, does this serve my purpose? Simplicity is a clear stream, washing away distractions. Think more about what truly matters. Say less about shallow wants. Socrates' sparse life wasn't empty. It was full of wisdom, a lesson for navigating our cluttered world. Transition. From simplicity, we return to Socrates' core, living a life that questions, seeks, and shines. Ever felt your emotions hijack your choices, anger sparking a rash reply, or fear freezing your dreams? Socrates mastered the art of self-control, forging his soul like iron in fire. In Plato's Phaedo, as hemlock crept through his veins, he soothed his weeping friend with calm resolve, saying, "Be of good cheer, death is but a passage." No panic, No please, just a disciplined mind choosing virtue over chaos. This wasn't just stoicism, it was self-mastery, honed through years of resisting Athens' temptations, wealth, power, flattery. In dialogues like Gorgias, he argued true power isn't ruling others but ruling yourself. While sophists chase applause, Socrates tamed his desires, focusing on truth. This discipline inspired Plato's vision of the philosopher king, Aristotle's ethics of self-control, and Stoics like Marcus Aurelius, who echoed Socratic resilience. Even today, athletes and leaders channel this fire, mastering impulses to achieve greatness. Apply it. Next time anger flays, on X, in a fight, pause, breathe, ask, is this worth my peace? Before chasing trends, check if they align with your core. Self-mastery is a flame, burning away distractions. Think more about your inner strength. Say less in fleeting fury. Socrates' calm in death teaches us, master yourself, master your life. Transition. From self-mastery's fire, we ignite Socrates' legacy, a life of relentless questioning and radiant truth. Chasing likes, cash, or clout, sound familiar? Yet, does it ever feel like happiness slips through your fingers? Socrates, Athens' relentless truth seeker, believed true happiness, eudaimonia, isn't found in fleeting pleasures but in a life aligned with virtue. In Plato's Symposium, he describes love as a ladder to ultimate beauty, a path to fulfillment through wisdom. The good life is one spent seeking goodness, he taught, not chasing shallow winds. Picture him in the agora, eyes twinkling, asking a rich merchant, "Does your wealth bring you peace?" The man's silence spoke volumes. Socrates' pursuit of eudaimonia inspired Plato's vision of the just soul, Aristotle's Nicomachean ethics where happiness is activity in accordance with virtue, and even modern positive psychologists focus on purpose. Unlike today's quick-fix culture, scrolling for dopamine hits, Socrates saw happiness as a lifelong quest, rooted in self-knowledge and integrity. Try it. Today, ask, does this choice make my soul thrive? Skip one mindless habit. Binge scrolling, gossip, and invest in a small act of kindness or learning. Happiness is a garden. Virtue is its seed. Think more about what fulfills you long-term. Say less about fleeting highs. Socrates' joy came from questioning, not owning. Proof true happiness lives in a life well-examined. Transition. From happiness pursuit, we embrace Socrates' legacy, a radiant call to question, grow, and flourish. Ever lie awake wondering what death means for your life? Socrates stared mortality in the face and didn't flinch. In Plato's Phaedo, as hemlock numbed his body, he faced death with eerie calm, joking, "Crichton, we owe a cock to Asclepius." No fear, no despair, just a philosopher embracing life's final question. He saw death not as an end but a passage, maybe to truth's ultimate realm. This fearlessness came from his belief. A virtuous life prepares the soul for any fate. In Athens, where fear of death drove men to cling to power or pleasure, Socrates' calm defiance was radical. His trial, apology, showed he'd rather die than betray truth. This inspired Plato's ideas of the soul's immortality, Aristotle's ethics of living well to die well, and even existentialists like Camus, who grappled with life's absurdity. Today, facing mortality fuels courage. Think of activists risking all for justice. Try it. Reflect. Am I living true to my values? Let go of one fear. Failure. Judgment. Holding you back. Death's a mirror. It shows what matters. Think more about a life well lived. Say less about fleeting worries. Socrates' final breath teaches, fear nothing. Live boldly. Transition. From fearless living, we embrace Socrates' call to question deeply, live truly, and shine eternally. Ever feel stuck, like life's answers are just out of reach? Socrates, Athens' curious gadfly, unlocked wisdom not by preaching but by asking better questions. In Plato's Meno, he prods a young man with, "What is virtue?" Not to teach, but to spark discovery. His Socratic method, a relentless dance of inquiry, turned conversations into mirrors, reflecting hidden truths. Wandering the agora, he'd ask a merchant, "What makes your work just?" The man's stumbles revealed more than any lecture could. This art of questioning shook the world. It birthed Plato's dialogues, Aristotle's logical rigor, and even modern science's hypothesis-driven quests. Today, when X floods with hot takes or your boss pushes a bad idea, don't argue. Ask, what's the evidence? Or why does this matter? Better questions cut through noise like a blade, exposing clarity. In relationships, ask, what do you truly need to deepen bonds? Curiosity is a spark. It ignites understanding. Think more about the right questions. Say less of empty opinions. Socrates' legacy isn't answers. It's the courage to ask relentlessly until truth shines. Transition. From better questions, we weave Socrates' legacy, a tapestry of curiosity, truth, and fearless growth. Ever felt the world pushing you to conform? Join the crowd, nod along. Stay silent? Socrates stood alone, unshaken. In Plato's Apology, facing Athens' jury, he refused to bow, saying, "I'd rather die than abandon truth." Accused of corrupting youth, he didn't waver, even when exile was an option. His solitary stand wasn't arrogance. It was strength rooted in conviction. In the Agora, he challenged popular opinions, asking, "Is this truly just?" Risking scorn to spark thought. This defiance shaped Plato's philosopher king, Aristotle's independent reasoner, and modern rebels like Rosa Parks, who stood firm for justice. In 2025, when X amplifies mob mentalities or workplaces demand compliance, channel Socrates. Ask, does this align with my truth? Stand up for what's right, even if you're alone. Solitude is a fortress. Conviction, its walls. Think more about your principles. Say less to please the crowd. Socrates' lone stand teaches. True strength shines in standing tall, no matter who's watching. Transition. From standing alone, we turn to Socrates' bonds. Friendships forged in truth and trust that in a world of fake smiles and shallow likes. What's a true friend? Socrates saw friendship as a sacred bond, built on honest dialogue. In Plato's Lysis, he probes, what makes a friend? Not wealth or flattery, but shared pursuit of truth. Picture him in Athens' groves, laughing with young disciples like Crichton, not lecturing but questioning together, forging bonds deeper than status. His friendships weren't transactional. They were soul-to-soul, rooted in mutual growth. These honest exchanges inspired Plato's Academy, Aristotle's communal ethics, and modern ideas of authentic connection. Today, when ex-friendships chase clout, ask a friend, what's really on your mind? Listen without judgment. Share your truth. Honest friendship is a mirror, reflecting your best self. Think more about who lifts your soul. Say less to impress. Socrates' circle, small but true, shows that real friends question, challenge, and grow together, lighting the path to wisdom. Transition. From true friendship, we chase Socrates' deeper quest, knowledge that's authentic and enduring. Ever drowned in info, clickbait, threads, endless facts, yet felt empty? Socrates sought knowledge that endures, not fleeting trivia. In Plato's Theaetetus, he asks, what is knowledge? Rejecting shallow answers for truths tested by reason. He grills sophists peddling quick rhetoric, exposing their wisdom as hollow. His quest wasn't for fact but understanding, forged through relentless questioning in Athens' markets. This pursuit shaped Plato's theory of forms, Aristotle's systematic inquiry, and even science's rigorous methods today. In 2025, when X bombards you with half-truths, pause, ask, is this source trustworthy? Does it hold up? Seek books, mentors, or deep talks over viral posts. Authentic knowledge is a gem, unearthed through effort. Think more about what's true, say less about what's trendy. Socrates' quest teaches, real wisdom isn't borrowed, it's earned through a life of inquiry. Transition. From authentic knowledge, we ignite Socrates' passion, a lifelong spark for learning. Ever felt your curiosity dim under life's grind? Socrates, at 70, burned with a learner's spark. In Plato's Euthyphro, he questions a priest on piety, not to win but to learn, even facing death. His love for learning wasn't academic. It was a way of life, asking why, in every Agora chat. He believed wisdom grows only when you keep seeking, never settling. This spark lit Plato's Academy, Aristotle's endless treatises, and modern lifelong learning movements. Today, when routine dulls your mind, pick one question about love, justice, or purpose. and explore it. Read a page, watch a documentary, or ask someone wiser. What do you think? Learning is a flame. Curiosity, its fuel. Think more about what you don't know. Say less about what you do. Socrates' endless quest shows a true learner never stops growing, no matter the years. Transition. From learning spark, we embrace Socrates' legacy, a life woven with questions, truth, and growth. As the sun sets over Athens' Agora in 399 BC, we return to that stone platform where Socrates stood, facing 501 jurors, his voice steady, his eyes unyielding. Accused of impiety and corrupting youth, he didn't beg for life but offered a final challenge. The unexamined life is not worth living. As hemlock stilled his heart, he comforted his weeping friends, saying, Crichton, we owe a cock to Asclepius, a serene nod to healing through truth. This wasn't defeat. It was triumph, a life lived fearlessly for wisdom, virtue, and authenticity. Socrates' death wasn't an end but a beacon, lighting the path for us across centuries. His wisdom burns bright. Ignorance is a seed of knowledge, for admitting I know nothing sparks relentless questioning. Virtue is the soul's compass, guiding us through moral storms to choose justice over gain. Courage means standing alone for truth, as he did, even when the crowd demands silence. The examined life, probed through questions, reflection, and dialogue, is the only life that truly matters. These truths, forged in Athens' crucible, resonate in our 2025 world, where X floods with noise and conformity tempts us to betray our souls. Socrates' legacy isn't in dusty text, but in how you live. When you scroll X, pause, ask, is this true? When faced with a moral choice, reflect, does this align with my virtue? When fear grips you, channel his fearless calm before death. To honor him isn't to quote him, but to embody his spirit. Question boldly, live simply, master yourself, seek happiness through goodness, and learn endlessly. His dialogues with Plato's youth echo in your conversations. Every honest question you ask a friend, every stand you take, weave his tapestry of truth. Picture him now, barefoot, gazing at you with that gentle irony. Friend, what are you waiting for? In this chaotic age, his call is urgent. Think more, say less. Let his gadfly sting awaken you to a life of purpose. As the camera pans across Athens' ruins, fading to your world, carry this. Socrates' life wasn't perfect, but it was true. Live yours the same. Question deeply, love fiercely, shine eternally. The examined life is your legacy, a flame that never fades.